guys! We had a great time at Pinnacles National Park, and it's time to go on the Highway 1. First, we headed northwest to Big Sur. On the way to Big Sur, we stopped to have some cioppino for lunch. While we were traveling for our spring break, the weather wasn't great. Many places in California were flooded from the rainstorm. Thankfully, we had a sunny sky on our way to Big Sur. The scenery was beautiful. We crossed many old bridges. We stopped once and got some fresh air. The blue ocean looked great. We saw many cows along the way and saw some deer too. We started seeing some tall trees when we got closer to our campground. Our original reservations at Pfeiffer Big Sur State Park got canceled because of the weather, and we stayed at a campground outside of the state park. The campground was muddy, but we were grateful that this campground was open. We liked being surrounded by these tall redwoods. Our site was by the river, and the water level was very high and running super fast. We just hung out in the RV that day. The next day, it rained all day. We planned to go to the state park and go hiking, but it rained and rained. My brother and I played video games all morning. After lunch, we headed to the state park. We thought the rain might stop, but it was pouring more. We went for a short ride, then came back to the Big Sur Lodge. We got a card game, snacks, and some souvenirs. On days like this, we just make some comfort food. We warmed up with some chicken soup with rice. We left the campground early in the morning. Because of the Highway 1 closures, we had to go all the way around to go to our next destination. It would have been a 1-hour drive without the closure, but we drove for almost 4 hours. At least the sky cleared up, and we got to see the beautiful scenery again. Our next stop was Hearst Castle. We went to the visitor center and learned about the history of the castle. The people who built it were amazing. We made tour reservations online and got our tickets. At the ticket office, we also got the Junior Ranger booklets and badges. We picked the most popular tour, the Grand Room Tour. We booked this tour because it was recommended for first-time visitors.
Morgan designed the road to wind around the trees.
We got to see the gorgeous garden and the Neptune pool. The main building was called Casa Grande. The assembly room was like a museum. The guide told us many interesting facts and stories. It was fascinating. It was a 70-minute tour, but it felt like a short time. I'd like to come back here and do different tours. After the tour, we drove south to our campground. We stayed one night at Hearst San Simeon State Park. There was a flock of quails near our site. The baby quails were so cute. We had chicken wings for dinner. On the next day, we went south to see the Morro Rock. We read that Morro Rock is a volcanic plug. There are 9 volcanic plugs from San Luis Obispo to Morro Bay, and they are called the 9 Sisters. It is a protected California State Historic Landmark. It is also a bird sanctuary, and we saw so many different types of birds here. We went for a short walk with our dog and tried to spot sea otters. They were far away from us, but we could see them swimming and grooming. We already ate lunch, but after a short walk and otter watching, we got hungry. We stopped at a local restaurant to get some fresh seafood. We got some fresh fish to cook later, and we also ordered some fish tacos, a poke bowl, clam chowder, and 2 steamed Dungeness crabs. After the yummy second lunch, we went to the Museum of Natural History. It was a small museum with a great view of the Morro Rock. We were the only people there, so we took our time reading and learning about this area and ocean. We worked on our Junior Ranger booklet for a long time and finally finished. Hello, this is my new friend, the sea otter. I named her Sea Star. We checked into our campground after the museum. We had bolognese pasta for dinner and relaxed. Mommy and I went for a walk in the morning. We walked to the Morro Rock and saw many different types of birds. I wanted to see more otters, but only saw some ducks. We went to the North T Pier and saw a few otters floating and came back to the campground. We decided to go to a restaurant for lunch. We walked to the closest restaurant by the North T Pier. There was an otter eating breakfast under the pier. Lunch was great. After lunch, we walked to the South T Pier. Where can you spot sea otters in Morro Bay? Go to the South T Pier. There were so many sea otters, and some had their pups on them. They were just floating together and grooming their babies. They were so cute! After never-ending otter watching, we came back to the RV and just relaxed. Daddy made cioppino for dinner and it was so good. It was the perfect meal for the last day in Morro Bay. It was already the last day of our spring break trip. We left Morro Bay early to come home. It was such a long drive, but we arrived home safely. We hope you enjoyed our spring break videos. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode.